All right, let's get down to business, shall we?
Expanding the horizons of hit music. The Beat. We turn on. Open your ears. The Beat.
Good morning, Orlando, and welcome to the Nick Carioti Show. We are broadcasting live from WPRK in Winter Park, Florida, 91.5 FM. I want to thank you for joining me Sunday mornings from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. while I bring you discussions with some of the most talented people in entertainment. And I also bring you the 80s till 8, a little flashback of that era. Some great music from back then as well. If you'd like to learn more about the show, visit us at nickcarioti.com. If you're having any trouble picking up the signal, you can also click on Listen Live at nickcarioti.com and hear our worldwide stream. Please feel free to send us your feedback either on Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn, or Tumblr at Nick Carioti. It is Sunday, July 6th, and this is our 4th of July weekend show. We hope that everybody out there is having a safe and happy holiday, and we want you all to have an awesome time and just always be safe doing that as well. For our second hour today, we have a great surprise for you. We have Ashley Dudakovich from Chasing Jonah live in the studio. She's one of my favorite artists, and looking forward to meeting her and just talking with this unique and talented artist as well. Till then, sit back and enjoy while I bring you the 80s till 8.
Find out. The Nick Carioti Show, right here on WPRK, Sunday mornings from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
All right. Once again, you're listening to the Nick Carioti Show here on WPRK, Winter Park, Florida, 91.5. And as promised, I am here with Ashley Dudakovich. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. And I know it's a tough time to be here, so I do appreciate you taking the time and making the effort to be here and bringing your guitar as well. This is wonderful.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. You know, I spent about 5 to 10 minutes this morning trying to make my coffee maker work by plugging in my toaster. So I can tell it's going to be a good day.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, real good. All right, so I've got a lot of things I want to talk to you about, but first of all, have I been pronouncing your name right over the last 4 weeks? Dudakovich.
That's really close. I mean, it's the Duke of Itch.
You know, and that was my only other choice, the Duke of Itch. Okay, and I went back and forth in my head, and I thought, I even looked for a pronunciation. So what's the heritage behind the name?
It's Serbian.
Serbian, yes.
And, I teach people to pronounce it by, pretty much saying the Duke of Itch.
Yes, so okay. Yes. Yeah, and now that I have these two things in my head, I'm going to destroy it the rest of the show, so I apologize in advance for that.
No, you just, as long as you pronounce it a completely different way each time,
right, at
least make it entertaining for me.
It's funny because I even spelled it out so I can pronounce it, a particular way. So there it is all over my notes, So.
Thank you. That's a lot. That shows a lot of respect.
Oh well, I tried. I even looked it up, and I knew that it was either Serbian or Croatian.
Oh,
I know, right? I believe that's where it stems from, I believe. But yes, that is wonderful. Excellent. All right, so excited to have you in the studio. Bunch of things I want to talk about this morning. So first off, I know you have your new album out, a new CD out, Prelude. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. It's a compilation of a couple different things, and I'm just so happy to hear certain songs on there that I've been listening to and following you for a while and such as well. So your music is unique. The name of your band is unique. And of course, the sound of your voice is unique as well. So you have this great little package going on that I'm looking forward to watching you on your rise, and I've been watching you on your rise so far. I love talking to bands that are on the brink of breaking national, and that's what I'm feeling and seeing in what you're doing.
Oh, nice. Must be a good omen.
Well, and what I'd like to really ask you is, I can see that as a fan, and I see your writings, and I, as a fan on Facebook as well, I kind of see what you do. You kind of pour your heart and soul out, to your fans and people out there. And so it leaves me with a feeling like I know you, which is a great feeling to have, and to just kind of get a grip of what you're doing. But do you personally get a sense of where you are as far as being ready to break national, or is it something that you're just so engulfed with that it's hard to really see where you're at right now?
There are some days that I feel it because, I have so much going on and I'm excited and everything's really well planned. But at the same time, you don't ever really know what's going to happen next day to day. You're always on the verge. So it's just kind of a thing like I said, just day to day. I get all kinds of opportunities, and sometimes some things don't work out the way that I expected to. So I just kind of taking it day by day and doing the best I can.
Yes, yeah, and that's got to be part of the excitement of the business, I think. Because any one particular opportunity could change your life forever.
Right.
Yes, and of course, there's the ups and downs. There's the roller coasters. I remember from years ago and stuff, and anything can happen, of course.
Right.
Yeah. Now I see that your fans respond to you in a really great way because they get to see all that. The way you pour your soul out into your writing. And just the different things, the way you tell everyone what's going on in your day and such. And you have a unique life because you are living that rock and roll life, just kind of like doing something every day to take it to the next step and such. So, of course, there's always going to be an enormous amount of emotions and different things happening that way. So you come across as a very unique and sensitive person as well. And again, I see the fans seem to respond to that really well. Would you say?
I think so. That's what music is to me. It's a very personal experience, and that's where it started. And so I have to kind of keep taking it there. It doesn't, there's a whole different side. There's a person that creates that music, and it is really important to be in tune to the people around you that support you, and show them that you're a person just like that.
Of course. And I think people really appreciate that because they can get so much closer to the music and they want it more. So they're anticipating, what you're going to write next and what's coming up next and that type of thing, which is really great. And that's the feeling I got, when I think the first song I ever heard of yours was Run. And I'll be honest, it like brought tears to my eyes. It was like, oh my gosh, and does that come from a very personal background? Are you writing a lot of autobiographical kind of stuff?
Yes. It's just about every bit of it. It's very, very personal. Not only just in the experiences that I have with people, but internal experiences with myself. It's just how I develop as a person, and it's how I learn things and I grow, and so a lot of times even I consider, sometimes I've said like my songs are my own teachers.
Yes.
So sometimes they're a reflection of something that I need to learn and I need to grow from.
Yes. Well, and also, of course, the video itself puts it together, so you kind of see the video and you hear those words and the lyrics, and especially when you hear it a second time, it's just, it kind of brings it all together and makes people really get an understanding of what you were probably feeling and thinking at that time as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes. Very powerful songs. And of course, the Only One I'd Sing To. That was my second one I heard, and I'm thinking, oh, great, someone's going to walk in and in a second I'm going to be crying over here at my computer, But beautiful song, really powerful song. Can you tell me about that song a little bit?
Oh, thank you. Wow. It's so weird to like talk about some stuff. Only One I'd Sing To. It's really just kind of about it's a sad song, obviously. It's about being left for someone else.
Yeah.
And then, but also at the same time realizing that you aren't even the right person for that person anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's a mixture of like being really, really, really sad about it, but also like understanding that, it's best in the end.
Well, the most creative people, sometimes are the most tortured souls, and they go through a lot, and that's something I think that a lot of people went through the exact same situation. I know I did, and I'm sure a lot of people out there did as well. So again, another topic, another thought that people can really relate to and stuff, and you can really kind of feel and hear your pain in a song, So it's like, I can only imagine, oh my gosh, this happened to her and that type of thing. But such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Yes, very good, very good. I can't wait to see what you're going to play for us today, too, in a little bit, but we'll get to that very shortly. Now, I was really happy to see that those two songs actually made it on the Prelude album. Yes. Wonderful. That's great.
Yeah, I was really excited to kind of recreate them, especially only when I'd sing to and give it exactly what was in my mind. Like, a lot of these songs, sorry, I'm like,
No, you're good. You're good.
A lot of these songs, I've written are older. I've had years and I've had them in my mind how I've wanted them to be produced. And, our first EP was great, but I was limited on budget and what I had access to. So this record, especially because we were able to fund it, I was able to really have it happen the way that I had always imagined. And when I'm playing on stage, I'm hearing all these additional parts and arrangements, and it finally came to a reality, and I'm just so really excited about it.
And you should be. And what's nice, and I realized that Run and some of the other earlier songs were written apart from each other. But you have a really smooth transition, the way your music and your whole thing evolved from one thing to another, probably year to year. It flowed so nicely that you can put all that on one record, and it does sound seamless. It doesn't sound like there was a gap between it or something major happened between there. It was a very nice evolution that happened from your older stuff to your newer stuff, I think. So I don't think most people would even know who's grabbing this album for the first time and realizing, oh my gosh, these are all 10, 12 great tracks on there, as opposed to, oh, I remember that from way back when. That's an old one. They're not going to hear that, I don't think. Unless they followed you, of course, years ago and stuff.
Right.
How many years would you say was between the time you wrote Run and completed this album? Here are the songs on this particular CD.
I would say probably about, let's see, I released the EP with Run, so the first version was in the fall of 2012. So I would say maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, very
then,
good.
So.
Now, would you say that the reason that you did an EP, extended play, as opposed to long play LP, would you say that it was mainly economical, or did you feel like those were the 4 songs that you really, and was it 4 songs on your EP?
Yes.
Okay, so did you feel that those were the 4 songs you just wanted to get out at that time, or was it more economics than anything else?
Those were definitely, we had a budget. It was actually my first EP.
Yes.
Like, it took me 9 years to finally get together. And so those were, at the time, we felt like our best songs. The most emotional, the most marketable, all, like what we could do. So those were basically, they made the cut, basically, from the producers at the time and the musicians that played.
Yeah.
We just kind of...
Yeah, and they do seem to be a good representation of your voice and the uniqueness of it, and also your writings as well. They seem really good. I think people would be able to see that and hear that and get a good idea of what you're about as far as musically. So that's wonderful. All right, so before we get too deep into the music again, where are you from originally?
Well... It depends. I was born in Virginia, but I don't count because I was only there for a few years to remember. Sure. I spent most of my childhood in Miami. Yep. And then came up here when things to remember started really happening. Yes. So I was about 13 when I moved up to Orlando. Yeah. So.
And this is a great place to be musically, or even for actors and things like that. It's a very creative environment, and I'm seeing an enormous amount of talent from here. Yes. I'm from New York originally, but I moved when I was 10, so that's like my Virginia for you. So I don't remember too much other than Catholic school. That's all I remember from Brooklyn, So I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, spent, 34, almost 35 years there, and then the rest over here. And so that was my growing up, and I was actually in the music business there in a band at the time with my brothers and stuff. And I saw what the music industry was back then, and it was very, very different. We had some talent there in South Florida at the time. We're talking about the late 70s, early 80s and stuff, but nothing like what I'm seeing here. I mean, with what you guys are doing, and there's a handful of other bands, Mecca with Mechanism and stuff, and I'm hearing some really incredible talent out here. So I'm glad to see that the opportunities are just flowing,
I'm excited to see it as well. I get so excited when I see other people pursuing what they love, and the talent, and some of the acts that I've performed with, some of my friends, I'm like, wait, I can say this person is my friend, my buddy, and they're just brilliant, so yeah.
There really is an amazing amount of talent here. It's wonderful to see. It's good. So how old were you the first time you sang in front of somebody or people and you realized that this beautiful sound was coming out of your mouth?
Oh, geez, that wasn't my thought. But, I don't know. I was a thing, I grew up in the church, so choir, and that was just a normal thing as a kid, but I didn't start music really doing it until I was about 13, and when I learned guitar I started writing, and a number of events led to me being like, you know what, this is what I want. because that's also the time that I started suffering with depression, and so that was how that was my, medicine of sorts,
Sure.
my healing, like place of healing. So then it was just like, it just became everything to me in those years, teenage years, I guess. And just went from there.
And as difficult as that might be to suffer with that, it's a hell of a catalyst for being creative. You can really dig deep into that. And and obviously you've created some incredible things by doing that. So, it's a necessary evil, I guess, for that sort of thing. Sure. Did you first start singing in front of family and stuff and then kind of catch the bug? I know you like the open mic nights, and that's great. I know you were in Tampa this past weekend, a few days ago. And I know you still like to do that, and that's great. Mm-hmm. But is that where you kind of like felt like that public feeling where it's like, oh wow, this is a good thing, they like it, I think I really want to be in front of a crowd?
Well, I had a really big family, and like I started on piano or teaching myself, but it was too loud, so they're like, but when I had learned the guitar, it was something I could kind of like hide in the closet and like learn and practice. Okay. Nobody listened in, and I just kind of came out, played for my family, and they were like, wait a minute, you're like, and I wrote right off the bat. But I guess I got my start really just like in my family's church, because they had like a worship band and stuff, and that's where I started first.
Yes.
And then it moved to open mics and just
Yes. Yeah. And all you need is just that little bit of guts to do it, and bam, there it is, because that's what most people don't have.
It took me forever. I used to have, like, I call him my first official music mentor. He was the worship leader of this one church, and I would sing with them, like, vocals, but I was so timid, I would stand like forever away from the mic. And they would always yell at me, eat the mic, eat the mic. So what he did one day was turn down my vocals and my monitors so low.
Yes,
that I couldn't hear myself. Yes. But it was loud out there, so I had to, and that's when, people started hearing, and they started encouraging me, and it kind of went from there. But for a long time, I was terrified.
Yeah, of course. It starts out that way. It has to. Did you have any formal vocal training?
No, I've taken lessons, like, every once in a while, like one or two, like, but I don't know. I guess, there's like classical training. You notice that your voice is very, very unique and different. So like, I just kind of didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And sometimes that'll change you to a point where you won't like it anymore, or like I tried to play in a symphonic band in high school, and I'm thinking, this is horrible. I mean, how can they teach me how to change everything I've ever learned about whatever I was playing at the time? So I would imagine that would be a little difficult for someone to try to change you in a formal way.
Right.
But it sounds like you've had formal training, and that's why I have to ask. It sounds wonderful, though. Very, very good. Now, I know you love to perform, and you could tell that because you're always out there looking for a gig or doing something, and I see that you also perform solo as well as with your band as well.
Right.
Yes, so you enjoy doing both.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the project is kind of like I'm the one steady member, and it makes it easier because, we have bigger gigs that are more either profitable. I can afford to kind of bring on other band members. Yes. But then since I can also, I write the music and I'm kind of like the main part of it, I can pack up and go, and build a crowd over in some other city without having to kind of worry about
that is such else. A great attitude to have. I love that because bands are tough, Okay, I had a couple brothers when I was younger stuff, so we probably stayed together longer than most, but I saw my friends who had, semi-pro bands and did things, and they were constantly changing. Someone's always leaving, someone's always fighting, it's just a problem. To get a lot of creative minds together, how it is.
Right.
Yeah, and what they say about drummers and keyboarders being freaks and stuff, they're weird people. Certain types of musicians are weirder than others. It's true, right?
Yeah, no,
yeah, sure. So
mostly drummers.
Mostly drummers, right, yeah, there you go. I found keyboardists, but yes. But for you to do what you're doing, I think that is really so phenomenal. So, do you have a manager or an agent, or are you doing a lot of it yourself right now? Or what are you doing?
Most of it I do myself. I have kind of like a consulting manager, if that makes any sense. So she's kind of like, I'm like, oh, spill out on the table. This is everything I have access to. Help me make sense of it, and then I go back to work.
Yes.
So for the most part, until like I have a little bit more of a demand and I have more success, I think that I'm just going to kind of run it for myself until I can bring someone on, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you're doing a good job of that, because the presence that you give online and everything, just with everything you're doing, is a good presence. It looks like a big presence. It looks like a presence that's ready to kind of break national and ready to go. So once again, you're gonna wind up giving somebody an easy task once they are able to grab hold of you and just manage you and like put you where you have to be out there, it's going to be a lot easier.
That's the goal, is to kind of create a package that's just like, that's the record. Like, I spent all of my love and passion into that product, and then we're going through the branding stages and just kind of make it an easy grab.
Yes. Now, Chasing Jonah was your project. I realize the name itself, it's unique. Tell me about the name a little bit.
Okay, so so I started, like, I grew up in the church and everything. I'm not religious or anything, but the story of Jonah is actually kind of like, I use that as a metaphor, as identifying with the character, in that this is my calling, but also like music is how, I guess I have mentioned previously, that the way that I deal with things, and a lot of times I don't naturally like to, hence the song Run, and especially when I hit problems or I get nervous and I don't want to deal with it. So music was my way of like bringing me back. So like, I always feel so funny like explaining this, but like when Jonah, he runs away because he's in a metaphorical standpoint is trying to escape his calling and what he doesn't think is going to work out. Like, he's not trusting. He doesn't think that Nineveh deserves to hear what he has to say. Anyway, so he has this fish that just basically like hunts him down, swallows him, and then until he decides that he's going to do what he's supposed to. So that's
Excellent. I love it. And, it keeps people thinking and wondering a little bit, So there's the story in the biblical sense, and then, of course, some people might think that, you were chasing a guy named Jonah, and a boyfriend or something like that, but it can have a broad spectrum, but it keeps people thinking, that's for sure.
Right.
So that's great. I love unique names. You don't have to worry about waking up one day and somebody else stole your name of your band, that type of thing. And that happens a lot as well. So
yeah.
Very good, very good. Now, I know that you do a lot of writing. So up until this point, have you been doing all your writing for your music right now?
Yes. For my, and I just recently, probably a year or two ago, I started co-writing, not for stuff on my record, but for some pop stuff and just collaborating and stuff. But all of my project is I have written everything.
Excellent, very good, and a good job of that. Now, are most of your recording that you've been doing up until this point, has it been in a formal recording studio, or do you have a digital setup where you can do it anytime you want, and you can get up at 3 a.m. and do something, put something down if you'd like?
Oh yeah, I actually. The record was done at Starlight Studios in Orlando. The producers were Brockberry Hill and Evan Kaufman. Absolutely great individuals. As far as my stuff, honestly, I just kind of recorded on my phone, and then until it's time to really take it in and get serious, that's where I'm at.
That's great. Well, it's great that you even have that access, because years ago, we didn't have anything like that. If you didn't have a little cassette player with a little push-button thing on it, handy, you could wind up forgetting what might have been like the magic you needed to put down at that moment, So
it's true.
Yes. Excellent. Very, very good. All right. So now, the bandmates you currently have, do you have some friends that you were friends before you were a band, or again, are you kind of picking and choosing musicians as you go, as you mentioned as well, or is that what's basically happening right now? Yeah,
it's pretty much picking and choosing as you go, because you had mentioned, it's really hard to kind of coordinate everybody in their lives and their day jobs or whatever, their personal life. So basically, right now, it depends on what the gig is going to be. I tend to, I'm in the process of trying to put together a CD release show, and possibly arrange a chamber orchestra and really give that fullness to it.
Yeah.
So, but that's going to take a little bit, and it depends on, again, who's available, but mostly people that I know, and
yeah, that's wonderful. And again, you have access to a lot of great musicians here.
Definitely.
And I would imagine a lot of great groups, even for an orchestra from maybe a school or something that's looking to do a different project and such, would be very interested in doing it as well.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. All right, so now, are you currently with a record label? Are you seeking a record label? Or is that something that's not really of a big interest right now? Because I know times are different with technology. You don't need to have it.
Right. I'm independent right now. I prefer to kind of be that way, at least for a while, because obviously we can do it. We have access to crowdfunding. We have access to so much. I mean, I think there's even talk of possibly kind of just starting up my own thing. And eventually creating my own team, which I kind of have, but they're like on a volunteer kind of basis at the moment. But that's kind of the goal, because it's like you can do it on your own. I mean, heck, you can even apply for the Grammys and not be with the label.
Exactly. And that's what I'm really loving about what's happening in this industry right now. And I'm glad to see you taking advantage of it as well. So, for instance, I was really excited to see you do Kickstarter, and I was really excited to see that you succeeded at it, because not everyone does.
Right.
There's a lot of projects out there, and a lot of people are not going to see that. So, it takes a lot of, I don't want to say guts, but it takes a lot of conviction for you to do that, to reach out and do that. And it takes a lot of loyal fans and people who really believe in you for that to succeed.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it does take guts, and everybody thought I was crazy when I first put the numbers out.
Oh no.
And but I mean, my friends and family and fans, like, they've been following me for years, and they were really, and I'm just so honored that they wanted to be a part of that. But at the same time, it's like, a lot of times these Kickstarters don't work because, I mean, here's the thing. You're not actually just asking for free money. You are working your butt off every day of that campaign if you're doing it right.
Yes.
You are messaging. You are, making appearances. You're playing. I mean, when I was doing it, I was working a full-time job as well as playing shows every single night. Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely, you just have to, like, act like there's no way to fail. Like, you have to just go.
Yes. Yeah. I would imagine so. Yeah, absolutely. And, it was funny because, I was very familiar with Kickstarter before I saw that you were using it. But I also knew that, what they do when they advertise Kickstarter, they advertise their success stories, and they don't really talk about how many failures there are. But I remember following a few people who barely got anything or just never made it to that end goal. Was it a pretty steady flow for you with that? Or was there a point where you thought, like, is this ever going to happen? Am I going to reach my goal?
Oh my gosh. So we were down. I was terrified. We were down to the last minute. Our goal was $15,000.
Right.
And 3 hours before, my mom, one of my great friends, Tiffany, we were all up all night, hours of the night, and it was 3 hours before, and we were only at 12,500.
Wow.
And we were sitting there, and I was just staring at the screen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we failed. We didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe it. And, we were taking turns, like, napping every hour. Mm-hmm. And then 117 minutes, I'll never forget it, 117 minutes before the end, all of a sudden it just shot up. Like, people increased their pledges. Somebody dropped in and saved the day. Like, it was insane.
Yes.
And we all thought we were asleep or something and dreaming, but it was amazing.
Wow, that must have been a really exciting night for you.
Terrifying.
Yes, terrifying, yes. And, from what I understand, a lot of people wait till the last minute on things like that. They're waiting to see what happens. And all those people who did contribute and help, they don't want to see their contribution go in vain because then nothing happens. I know they get their money back and stuff like that, but you're not going to get it, and then the whole thing was wasted. So I would imagine that a lot of those people resaw it again and looked at it and thought, "Oh, we're so close," and then just tried to,
Yes, yeah, I did get mentions of that. Definitely, yes. People, really stepped it up, and I'm just so grateful for that.
The concept of the whole thing, I think, is wonderful, especially the way you did it, because so you let them know that you were going to go ahead and give them a copy of the CD. So really, what they were doing, in a sense, was kind of buying it in advance,
right? Which
gave you an opportunity to complete the project and get it out there.
Right.
To me, that's phenomenal. I hope you're able to do that on every single one that you do, if you had to. If you're not ready to do it yourself, so I would be excited to see, what'll happen on your next one, to see, how those people who got it, who loved it, and realized how successful it was, are going to come out for you. I hope.
You'd be like, I did this is what we did with what we had, and next time around we're going to try. Something else. So
yes, that is wonderful. That is wonderful, because it does get expensive to do everything you have to do to get the thing out.
Even now, like, we still, that did not cover what we did.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We're still paying I'm still paying out of pocket for stuff, like,
sure.
Just trying to make it happen. And
of course.
Whew.
Yeah, because a budget is just like one thing that never really works. They always say that, you got to double it.
There were so many last minute expenses that came in that I was just like, where did that come from? And did not anticipate at all. Yeah. So that happens with anything. But hopefully I'll get better at this whole accounting thing pretty soon. Numbers aren't usually my thing, but they're going to have to be soon.
It's hard to do everything. It really is, obviously. All right, so I'm very excited about the album Prelude, and as we talked about, it is your first full length album that you have, as opposed to the EP and such. We know it was a very big project and a long project. In total, how long would you say it took you to get this one out?
In total, as far as like the writing, ever since the writing was started, or if I was going to go that much, I'd say 11 years.
Yeah, right.
I think that, like, the cool thing is when it came to actually recording, we were so organized that getting it out was fast. Like, we literally tracked everything in 10 days because we had such an amazing professional group of musicians that were on there. There's about 12 musicians that played on this record. Right. And but it took a few months to do the mixing just because, the producers, they had a lot of other projects they were doing as well. So, I mean, to get this released from the time we went into the studio, let's see, we started October, 7 months. 7 months from the time we went in to record and got it released to the world. Very nice.
Very nice. I want to talk about your new video, but first I would love to have you play a song for us. Any idea what you might like to play?
I was actually going to play only when I'd sing to. So I'm going to dedicate this to you.
I appreciate it.
Let me get my water. I have a morning voice, it's hard to wake up.
No problem. Take your time.
Do you need to check anything?
Or? You go ahead. I can hear things are going to sound pretty good.
Okay. Check. I sent you down to the sinking shore in search of pretty things that would take your heart to war. You weren't in love with me, so what else could I do? If one of us were happy, it might as well be you. And I saw you sail into time as I watched her take what was mine. But she deserved more than I, for that you have every right to hold her heart in place of mine. But I'll stay here on standby until it is you realize that you're the only one that I would sing to. You're the only one I'd sing to. I gave away the right of my beating heart to you, and the signs of her existence lied within every bruise. But I would never blame you for the lies she told herself. After all, they're only feelings, and we've no choice in how they're dealt. And I saw you sail into time as I watched her take what was mine. But she deserved more than I, for that you have every right to hold her heart in place of mine. But I'll stay here on standby until it is you realize that you're the only one that I would sing to. You're the only one I'd sing to. You're the only one I'd sing to. You're the only one I'd sing to. And I saw you sail into time as I watched her take what was mine. But she deserved more than I, for that you have every right to hold her heart in place of mine. But I'll stay here on standby until it is you realize that you're the only one that I would sing to. You're the only one I'd sing to. You're the only one I'd sing to. You're the only one I'd sing to.
Oh man, so beautiful. Really, really beautiful song. Love that song. And it fits so well in this album. I mean, with Cruel and How and The Clock's Moved. I mean, just what a great combination of songs, I think the people who get this are going to be so happy with it, and I like it because it feels so ready for airplay. It feels so ready for mainstream. So I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. And I love your enthusiasm because I know that if anyone's going to get it done, you're going to make sure it's in the right hands and right places to get it done. So I'm glad to see that.
Thank you.
Because I don't think most people out there don't know what it really takes. It takes beyond what anyone can imagine or beyond anything we can really talk about. It just takes that, everything you got plus a lot of luck, plus a lot of everything. So
I call it the 10% rule. Every 10 you ask, one will say yes. So just keep going.
Yes, that is it. That is absolutely it. Yes, very good. All right. So the video for this one here, the main video that you did for Prelude, the first one, the official video, did you have that? You obviously had it professionally done. It's like a little mini movie. It's a great video.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so exciting. One of the things, especially with this project, that I really, really wanted to make sure that happened was that it was a collaboration every step of the way with other artists, with other local talent. I really wanted the opportunity to showcase the people that I find to be absolutely brilliant and wonderful. And so we kind of, work on each other's success.
Yes.
So, and not only that happened with the musicians and the studio and everything, but it also happened with, I chose one of my friends, Shane Harper, to do to direct the music video. And I remember he was like, the first thing he said, like, I don't know what we can do with that kind of budget. And because it really was nothing for what happened. So I said, don't think about that. Just tell me what you want to do. And then if I can't get you that, I'll get you something close. Because my job is to kind of fetch the people for the most part. And so, of course, it comes with this elaborate thing, and I'm just like, oh, my gosh, what was I thinking? Why did I tell him that? But it was a great storyline. It was great. I mean, he did phenomenal. So he pulled on our mutual friend, Paul Green, is our production designer, and we all three, it took us months to actually do that video.
Yes.
Because we were like, how are we going to get the supplies? How are we going to get the people? And we had to build those props. Most of everything you saw was made out of cardboard.
Yes.
My dad helped out, too.
Yep.
And so then we went to Valencia College, and we actually went to a lot of places to try and find a platform or a place to really film it in.
Yes.
So we went to them and we did a presentation for the director of their film department, and he liked the song and the concept, and they just kind of they let us collaborate with their students. Wow. And they were amazing. They were all the interns. We had a couple professionals, the makeup artist and the director of photography on board, and then the students kind of helped out fill in everything else. So that was a huge production. That took 3 days of shooting, and everybody was just amazing. And I had local artists also design the props, you know. And one of them, she actually did our album cover. And she's doing an animation video now.
Oh, wow.
Her name is Megan Resch.
Okay.
And so she's also a local artist. That's one of her dreams, is to be like a Disney animator.
Yes.
So she's kind of using one of And the Clock's Moved, and she's going to be doing a video for that. So we're really excited to see.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Does.
I can totally see that, because you're a very animated person. You're very really. I can see that. She could probably turn it into a whole little TV series or animated TV series. Probably.
I'm excited. I don't know. It's looking great. She's been putting clips up. So
yes, wonderful. But this video here is like a period piece, correct? I mean, it's just the costumes and just so much going on there. Yes,
it was crazy. I mean, the concept of it was Shane had. The storyline is pretty much how when you're a little girl. That you're told how life is going to be, how you're supposed to be. The only toys you're ever given are, a kitchen and baby dolls, and that's all you're ever going to amount to be.
Right.
And then as you get older, it was so we kind of incorporated. You'll see in the beginning too, like some of the dolls and stuff that we used, but we incorporated that fairy tale land, and then kind of gave it like an Alice in Wonderland with a morbid twist. Is how how life really turns out. So everything was really symbolic, all of the props, and so it was. Really exciting storyline.
Yes, it was very, very nice too. Very interesting to watch. The kind of thing you have to watch several times to pick it all up.
Yes.
There's a lot of little things here and there. And I was really interested when I saw like some of the expressions on some of the actors' faces and stuff like that. They were very pro. It was very nice. I liked it. I thought it was good. Yeah, it was very, very good.
Awesome.
Very nice. I didn't realize the diversity of your vocals until I heard like Miss Lorraine. All right, so tell me about Miss Lorraine.
Miss Lorraine is a blues song. It was actually the first one that I'd ever written. I think I was just like, I was hanging out with some bands. Like, there's a lot of bands here that do like blues rock and funk and stuff. And, you know, I was jamming with them sometimes on some of their shows. And that was just kind of, I was like, man, you know, I really like doing this. I'm going to try it. I've had quite an experimental year. I've done like some punk rock stuff too that it probably won't be released, but like just a bunch of other.
If I dug really deep on YouTube, could I find something or on the internet or no?
I mean, no, not that crazy. But I do have like probably have like a pop song on there, the electro pop song that I co-wrote and experimented with. But I'm always trying like different stuff. Right. So that was kind of that was a really fun song.
Well, and it was a great song. It sounds like just a great blues song. So my first thought, I have to be honest, it just sounded very polished and bluesy and just really hot. And I thought, well, maybe it's a remake, you know. So I went on, did a little research, you know, and I found a guy from back in the 50s that I think John Hooker, a very famous blues guy, and he had a song called Miss Lorraine. I'm thinking, okay, I found it. And then I started listening. I'm thinking, no, this is like nothing like that. All that's similar is the name. That was it. But I love the song. It's a beautiful song.
Wow, what a great compliment.
No, it's really good. Yeah, I figured it had to be a remake. You know,
I hope people cover that. Like, I want to give that to other blues bands or something.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's a great style to kind of like dabble into when you feel like it, I guess, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think you should ever abandon what you normally do because it's such a unique voice and it's such a great thing. But to have that little bit of continuity, I think is really great. Mm-hmm. You know, very, very good. All right. So, can you play another song for us? Are you feeling up to it?
Sure.
All right,
Did you have any like specific requests of?
Well, of course, I'd love to hear "Run."
Okay,
if that's okay.
Let's do "Run."
Oh, that'd be
I'm
wonderful.
gonna try and manage this without like taking out your microphones because that's very powerful.
Okay. You go ahead.
I have to back up on that one.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll move it around periodically as well, but that's great.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
So here's "Run."
Excellent.
Run, it's what I do best. I am done trying to clean my own mess, leaving pieces of myself everywhere to remind you of everything we've shared. Desperate to have my heart's returned, I'd give it to anyone who'd ease the burns. And it hurts me like it hurts you, I swear. If I would have known, I'd never even dare. I'm feeling heavy every day, and I never stop running away. I met a gypsy who saw right through me. They said, my lady, you don't fall me. I can warm you all that you desire, but I'll never have that fuel to light your fire. And it hurts me like it hurts you, I swear. If I would have known, I'd never even dare. And I'm feeling heavy every day, and I never stop running away. it hurts you, I swear. If I would have known, I'd never even dare. I'm feeling how I live it every day, and I never stop running away. Yeah, it hurts me like it hurts you, I swear. But I cannot watch you die because I care. And I'm feeling how I live it every day, and I never stop running away. Desperate to have my heart's return, I'd give it to anyone who'd ease the burns.
Oh, that is fabulous. I feel really honored to have you do that for me here. Oh. Really. It's very, very nice. I've been thinking about that. I'm thinking, oh, wow, that would be awesome if you wanted to play that here. So thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. We're going to take a quick little break here. Once again, I'm here with Ashley Dudakovich. No, it's
Dudakovich. That's fine. You know, whatever way you can manage to say it.
And that was so my other choice. It was really funny. All right.
We used to Chasing Jonah. That works. That's just so we call it my stage name, and that's why I actually decided to go into a project name, because nobody could pronounce the last name.
Yeah, right. That's funny. All right, you're listening to the Nick Carioti Show here on WPRK, Winter Park, Florida, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Alec Baldwin for Save the Manatee Club. Manatees are wonderful. Their gentle, playful ways are fascinating to watch. Yet these harmless marine mammals face growing threats to their survival. Many manatees are injured or killed from boat strikes or other human activities, and their habitat is being lost. Manatees need your help. Please call Save the Manatee Club at 1-800-432-JOIN or visit www.savethemanatee.org.
Hey, what a beautiful day. 91.5 WPRK. 91.3.
The Nick Carioti Show. What does Nick have that others don't? We'll let you know as soon as we find out.
The Nick Carioti Show, right here on WPRK, Sunday mornings from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Nick Carioti Live.
We can dance if we want to, we can leave your friends behind, 'cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well they're no friends of mine. See, we can go where we want to, places they will never find, and we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. We can dance. We can go if we want to, night is young and so am I, and we can dress real neat from our hats to our feet and surprise them with a victory cry. Say, we can act if we want to, if we don't nobody will, and you can act real rude and totally removed, and I can act like an imbecile. Say, we can dance, everything's out of control. We can dance, we're doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking the chance. Safe to dance, oh well it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance. We can dance if we want to, we've got all your life in mind. lose it, never gonna lose it. Everything will work out right. I say we can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind, because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. I say we can dance, everything's out of control. But we can dance, we're doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking a chance. Well, it's safe to dance, yes, it's safe to dance. Well, it's safe to dance, well, it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance, it's safe to dance. Well, it's safe to dance, it's safe to dance. Oh, it's safe to dance, well, it's safe to dance. Well, it's safe to dance, well, it's safe to dance.
All right, you are back, and you are with the Nick Carioti Show here on WPRK, Winter Park, Florida, 91.5 FM. And I am once again here with Ashley Dudukovic. I'm getting closer. And she has been playing live for us. She is with Chasing Jonah, and a wonderful band that is on the brink of doing something big, and we're looking forward to being a part of that and seeing that as well. So before we have you do another number for us, can you tell our listeners where they can get a hold of your CD? I know your website, but why don't you tell them about that a little bit?
Certainly. Awesome. Okay.
There we are, yes.
Certainly. You can find it on iTunes, as well as Google Play, Amazon, just the basic carriers, Spotify even.
Yes.
And also Bandcamp, chasingjonah.bandcamp.com. I have the hard copies actually available on there, as well as the
download.
The download. Yeah, digital
wonderful.
download, so.
Very good. So you got it in all the right places, so people should have no problem finding you.
Right.
Yes.
Google. Just
Yes.
Google it. Something will happen.
Absolutely. A lot will happen, actually. So that's great. All right. So you're going to do another number for us, aren't you? Wonderful.
Yes.
All right. And this is called?
This is, I'm going to do And the Clock's Moved for
Excellent.
you here.
Yes. Another one of my favorite.
I have morning fingers also, so like they're all kind of like, wake up!
Oh, no. Well, it sounds great. So you keep those morning fingers.
Along Mills Avenue, my car broke down and all I had was you. Fall painted the middle of the night, where early sunsets left off and took flight. 4 a.m. downtown began to sleep, but we were up trading our life dreams. And the clocks moved, changing everything we knew. Oh, and I had hardly noticed when I was in love with you. And the clocks moved, changing everything we knew. Oh, and I had hardly noticed when I was in love with you. Years now turn the memories grey, but I'm still here passing by the place where Anderson brought out so much risk, and we had left so many things unfinished. And the clocks moved, changing everything we knew. Oh, and I had hardly noticed when I was in love with you. And the clocks moved, anything to hold me, and our love set our souls free. And you made me, oh, but I remember how you do anything to hold me, and our love set our souls free. But the clock's still going, changing everything we know. Oh, and now I really notice when I see how we have grown.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Thank you so much. That is beautiful. So tell me, that song was written early, or when was that written in your career?
Yeah, that was about, I mean, I wouldn't say super early. That was about 4 years ago, around the same time Run was.
Okay.
Which is why it kind of made the cut for the first EP as well.
Okay. Clearly about one of your relationships?
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
I say one of them, makes it sound like you had like thousands.
Yeah, pretty much, you know.
Sorry.
I try not to be too Taylor Swift and write about every, try not to say anything too.
Those make the greatest songs, So,
yeah, if you do it right, yeah.
Yes, no, people like hearing about that. So, what was the first song you ever wrote? Did that song ever come to fruition or anything? Or
jeez. Oh, man, no. Okay, when I was 13, back in my religious days, I wrote a song called Hideaway, and it was about... it was about being afraid to sing in front of people.
Okay, yes.
And that's when I started my self-development.
Yes.
But and how my voice wasn't mine, but God's. So I needed to share it with the world, and so that was my first song.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. That's good. Do you sometimes play that just for yourself, or
no?
Or do you ever think of doing a rendition of it?
If you dig deeper on the internet, apparently it's floating around there.
Yes.
Like when I first did a demo, and I was like 14. Like, oh man, I've been trying to I think places like Groove Shark kept putting stuff up, and I was like, gosh, no, why is all this horrible stuff? Can't you get it on here?
Yeah.
But
that's wonderful, though. That's great. Yeah, I mean, someday everyone's going to be digging for that. So, yeah, and that's when you're going to find out how hard it is to get rid of anything that's once it's hit the internet, it's so hard.
Right. I just have to pretty much just be like, you know what, there's no dignity in this business, so, people are going to find a way.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, well, we are approaching the top of the hour, unfortunately, so I'm hoping we can encourage you to come on back and do this again.
Oh, please. This is a blast. Thank you. You ask good questions, and you also have a nice radio voice.
Oh, I appreciate that very much. I appreciate it. Not as good as your singing voice, but I appreciate that. Well, we are going to take advantage of the last few minutes to do one more song.
All right.
Am I pushing you too much?
No.
All right.
Yeah, you know what? I'm tired.
You're right.
I'm emotionally drained.
There you go.
So cool. I will do this song then. This is I will do this song.
Yes.
This Till Somebody Tells Us So. This is one that's really liked. It's a really interesting song. So
yes.
Here we go.
There we go.
Will you dare to speak out? No one seems to care. Moving through life unaware, and we've no stories left to share. Will you sing when we have forgotten normality, and we've lost all the will to dream, and they've taken our desire to be free? I'm right behind you if you'd like to lead the way, but you've every right to decide to walk away. I know you're scared that we're not gonna hear you, but it's not fair that you won't let us near you, 'cause so many just don't know we have power till somebody tells us so. Try, although you're convinced you've lost your mind, and you've put in so much time, but you're still barely getting by. Will you show the rest of us how to hold on to hope? 'Cause giving up is all we've ever seemed to know, and it seems so much more safe to let go. But I'm right behind you if you like to lead the way. But you've every right to decide to walk away. I know you're scared that we're not gonna hear you, but it's not fair that you all let us near you. 'Cause so many just don't know we are bound till somebody tells us so. Chose to build our walls, and no, you're not too far from moving us to knock them all straight to hell along with every insecurity. And I'm pretty sure you felt a strong push to end this misery of a people who can't see outside of ourselves, cause we're so afraid we might be different from everyone else. But I've seen you shine without any shame, and if you could spare the time, I would like to do the same. Cause we're right behind you if you'd like to lead the way. But you've every right to decide you walk away. I know you're scared that we're not gonna hear you, but it's not fair that you all let us near you. 'Cause so many just don't know we have our till somebody tells us so. 'Cause so many just don't know we have power till somebody tells us so. Guys, so many just don't know we have power till somebody tells us so.
That is wonderful, wonderful. I feel like I have to come up with some new adjectives, but beautiful best describes your music. Really, really a beautiful song. That is wonderful, wonderful. And obviously that's on the
yes.
album. Wonderful. Very good. All right, we are coming to the top of the hour. So once again, Google search Chasing Jonah. You'll find Ashley's music on it. You'll see the Prelude CD. Come back next week, and I'm going to play the entire CD. We'll play every song on it next week. So,
awesome.
Yes, wonderful. We'll make sure people at least get to hear it and know where they can get it as well.
Awesome.
So thank you so much again for coming in this early.
Thank
It has been such a
you.
pleasure. I look forward to having you back again if you will.
Oh, please.
Wonderful. Very good. All right. Once again, you've been listening to the Nick Carioti Show, and this has been Ashley. Don't even say it.
Dadukovic.
You said it.
Two parts.
Yes.
You do Ashley, I'll do Dadukovic.
We
do this together.
I will have that.
We're a team.
I will have that mental block. If I don't know why, because I drilled it in my head the original way. So, by the way, I thought
Just
it was.
spell it out, the Dukovic, like
The
I told you
Dukovic,
earlier on.
the Dukovic. Yes, there you
Like
go.
The Duke. Like I'm the Duke of itch, of all the itches.
All right. Thank you so much again, and we will see you soon back in the studio. Thanks, and good luck to you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Nick Carioti Live.